Mystics, and welcome to the Mystics Podcast. Hey, I'm so excited you're here. Unfortunately, we are not. This is fall break for any of you parents and non-parents alike, and it changes your schedule, and kids are out of school. That's the window when we would normally be recording this podcast. And so Anjanette and I had what I believe is a brilliant idea. You know that we have a couple of podcasts, and we've decided to mix the podcast in this window that we have. So I am going to give you an episode of Got a Minute Mini Podcast. This is the podcast we do that kind of combines one chapter from my book that's usually kind of funny, and then one song from Anjanette that's an original song that she wrote, and then she also gives us kind of the backstory of those songs, and it's a really cool podcast. And so this one happens to be Church at the Solo Club and a song from Anjanette called I Just Can't. And even if you only listen to the podcast just for the song, it will be so worth it for you. It's a great song with a great story behind it, but I think you're going to enjoy the whole podcast. So you are in for a treat today. So same themes, same spirit. It's just I'm going to give you a window into the Got a Minute Mini Podcast. And then when we get back from fall break, well, we'll resume the normal episodes like we usually do, for better or worse. Thank you, friends, for listening, and thanks for being a part of this, and we will see you soon. Peace out.
Got a Minute Mini Podcast is a production of Pioneer Dream, celebrating 30 years of telling stories for our corporate, nonprofit, and entertainment partners. Be sure to check out our Dreamers Live podcast, which offers entertaining conversations about living intentionally.
Chapter 45, Church at the Solo Club. It's been over 20 years since I first stepped foot in the Solo Club. I'd always wondered about this mysterious, tiny cinder block bar on 2nd Street with a neon sign and blacked out windows. What goes on in there? What kind of person hangs out in a place like that? Do you come out alive if you go in? One fall Monday night, I decided to do some reconnaissance. I parked across the street. A couple of lonely cars sat out in front of the Solo Club like horses tied up at a saloon. The whole entrance was awash with red neon glow. I steadied myself and tried to look strong, which is not my strength. There was some music coming from inside and not much else. I put my hand on the black door and pulled. 3 souls on the inside, 2 warming bar stools and 1 serving, turned and looked at me. You got a payphone? All the way in the back. That was my quick plan. Act like I need to use the phone so I could get in and out quickly and easily. I walked past the red paneling and celebrated beer cans lining the wall, past the faded pool table, past the old-school jukebox and popcorn machine, to a black wall-mounted payphone patrons used to call who knows who for who knows what. I placed a call to who knows whom. And that was it. I just turned and walked out like I'd accomplished a dare, like I had just touched a dead body on the tracks or poked a bear. Over the next couple of years, I would turn up at the Solo Club with my wife and friends, usually my sister-in-law Ashley. The bar got warmer and friendlier. It was small, so the bartender began to recognize us with a head nod or even by name. About that time, my wife, a singer-songwriter, finished her first album, and we wanted to shoot a music video for one of her singles just the same. We begged the parties that be and offered a rental fee so we could shoot in the bar. They seemed surprised at the offer, but agreed. The challenge was we had to do it when the bar was closed, which meant starting at 2 a.m. and finishing before the morning deliveries came. It was magical. Not long after, Anjanette put a band together. Looking for places to play, she asked Nicholas Saris, the then owner of the Solo Club, if she could play there. Even though she was an untried talent, he agreed and gave her the Friday night slot. It was like a movie scene. The tiny bar filled up. It was loud and vibrant with humanity. Someone grabbed an empty pitcher from behind the bar and walked it up and down the room, taking tips for the band, a Solo Club tradition. Nick hugged me before he left halfway through the set. He was always early to leave the club. A few minutes later, I found out he'd given orders to pay the band triple what they'd agreed on. That was a very Nick thing to do, I discovered over the years. When the bar's 50th birthday approached, they asked if we'd help them promote it. We gave them a new logo and press releases and t-shirts and whatever else. And in return, my wife negotiated that Nick would teach me the craft of bartending. It's a secret bucket list item for me. We all agreed. So for a couple of nights a week, I'd show up in front of the regulars, and Nick, along with Tommy Leathers, taught me about pours, spirits, glasses, and demeanor behind the bar. It was Nick who schooled me to never dump the ice when you're giving someone a second round. That's educated ice, see? Leave it in there. After a couple of weeks, Nick asked if I'd actually like to pull some shifts at the club. So, off and on for the next 2 years, I worked Friday and Sunday nights at the Solo. The rich characters I met in my time behind the bar could fill up a Steinbeck novel. I'd only been working a couple of months when Tony, whom we all called Blue and who used to help out around the bar, was tragically killed walking home one night crossing Tuxedo Boulevard. Everyone loved Blue. The funeral home was packed with Solo Club patrons now donning suits and dresses. Nick gave an impassioned eulogy and invited the entire room back to the bar for a wake of sorts. It was beautiful. Somewhere in the hours that passed, Nick pulled me aside and recited the things he loved about Tony, with real-life tales of his generosity and kindness. "And that's the book on Tony," he said. What a phrase. I imagined a little black book of acquaintances where names were listed and beside them short notations distilled who they are into a couple of key phrases. J. Webster, from the Oklahoma tribe, writer, funny enough, should listen more than he speaks. What would be the book on you? What would you like it to read? Tony's would be the first of several wakes I would experience as part of the Solo Club family. At some point, at every one of them, the jukebox would announce the familiar opening of Billy Joel's Piano Man, and all the women would take seats up on the bar itself, like a sort of royal court. From there, they would sway in time as the entire bar joined the hymn word for word. I witnessed this group celebrate each other, mourn each other, support each other, and even argue with each other if the matter was important enough. They paid each other's debts and found each other work and tried to keep each other safe. They welcomed outsiders and insiders alike. Outcasts often found a home at the club. They were far from perfect, but they were family. On Sunday nights, my own family would come in. The regulars loved it. My in-laws grew more popular than me at the bar. The Solo Club adopted this pastor and his wife as their own. For years, they showed up at the start of every week for what the patrons deemed Monday night church. This was a place for people to ask questions, because nothing's off limits in a bar, and ask for help and talk about spiritual things that would generally never find space in a church building. As my father-in-law Jason Elmore would say in these moments, people love Jesus and what he teaches. They just don't want to have to go through the church to find him. It's no surprise that for the years that followed, Jason, with the help of his wife Joni, has been called on to marry and bury so many people from the bar, generally for free, and always because they could be trusted. What I learned in my years at the Solo Club is that a bar is often like Switzerland. It's neutral. On any given night, people celebrate and talk and hearts are unlocked, and at the next table, someone else is making altogether different choices. But that's true of the houses on our block, too, isn't it? I mean, behind those doors, someone is living brilliantly, and someone else is preparing for a lifetime of counseling sessions. We're all the same. It's just the venue that changes. There have been at least 3 owners of the Solo Club since I worked there. I can't remember the last time I set foot in the space. I just know I will always remember what it felt like in those moments, when the piano sounded like a carnival, and we were feeling all right as we had church at Solo Club. Well, hello, Anjanette, and welcome back to the God a Minute Mini podcast. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here on the God a Minute Mini podcast.
Hey, we're having you here today to talk about the song I Just Can't, and I think it says in parentheses, a sort of gospel song, which seems so appropriate for this episode. Tell us a little bit about the song and its origins or what it means to you.
I will. With apologies to my mother for the cuss word in the full title.
Oh, my
Actually,
gosh.
the song says, "I just can't get my shit together."
Oh my gosh.
God knows I've tried.
Well.
But it's really kind of a confessional. I spent a lot of years trying to be perfect, like
Okay.
a lot of girls do, into my early 20s, and thinking that if I could be perfect and have perfect grades and be this perfect example, that somehow I would be a better human and a good
Right.
example to other people. And the truth is, I learned pretty quickly that I can't keep my shit together. God knows I've tried.
As
it's
most of us can't.
Yeah, so it's
Yes.
a confessional about that. And I actually found as I got older, the more honest and authentic I got about
Yeah.
my own failures, the more relatable I became to people. So the
Yeah.
song's just a fun little poke at that.
Well,
you know?
I still think you're a great example to all people, not
That's so
just like.
sweet.
But I do love this song, and it's a funny song, and I think people will really love it. So we'll
Good.
give it a spin.
All right, thanks.
All those times I tried to be the perfect one for you and me. A time or two I'd impress myself. Before the day was out, I desperately need your help. 'Cause I just can't get my shit together. God knows I've tried. Every time I think I fooled you, I know I'm lying. I wish I might win this good fight, but I just can't get it. No, I just can't get my shit together. Been stuck a while, working so hard for a smile. Working hard up late, gotta lose more weight, run a few more miles. A time or two, I'd reach out to you, and you remind me you love me just as I am, which is good. 'Cause I just can't get my shit together. God knows I've tried. Every time I think I fooled you, I know I'm lying. I wish I might win this good fight, but I just can't get it. No, I just can't get my shit together. I'd like to get on track, but I can't even find one. I'd like to find a good cause and get my ass behind one. I try to be all things so that I might win some. I'll drop my lines, my mask. This act is coming undone. Each time I do, I come running back to you. I need a whole new plan, so can you help me start over again? 'Cause I'm gonna disappoint you, and I'm gonna disappoint me. I'd like to get on track, but I can't even find one. I'd like to find a good cause and get my ass behind one. And I just can't get my shit together. God knows I've tried. Every time I think I fooled you, well, I know I lied. I wish I might win this good fight, but I just can't get it. No, I just can't get it. No, I just can't get my shit together.
for listening. We'd love it if you'd like and subscribe to the podcast and then share it with the people you know. Thanks. This has been a production of Pioneer Dream.